Lionel Messi is staying with Barcelona, but what does his body language say about that decision? The 33-year-old, who has spent 20 years at the Catalan club, dropped the bombshell news from Barcelona in late August that he intended to leave on a free transfer. However, Barca refused to recognize the break in his contract and they claimed he could not use it after June. So the struggle began, in which the Argentine international tried to find a way out. There were only two choices. Either a buyout fee of 700 million euros or going to trial.
Sí, voy a seguir y eso no, por más que me haya querido ir, no va a cambiar mi actitud ni nada a la hora de competir, porque siempre quiero ganar, soy competitivo y no me gusta perder a nada.
But in this case, he lost against Barcelona president Josep María Bartomeu, whom Messi claims reneged on a promise he could leave at the end of the season. Before we start, I'm glad to have the opportunity to show you the secrets of body language. All you have to do to support my channel is like this video and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my body language analysis. There are 3 things you're going to discover from Messi's body language. How to know when someone's doing something against their will, make a guess about Barcelona's performance next season, and how to know when someone is really upset with another person. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and I want you to uncover the secrets that people try to hide from you.
Después de la derrota de Champions fue muy duro, la verdad que sabíamos que no íbamos a enfrentar a un rival difícil, pero no que íbamos a terminar de esa manera, con ese resultado y dejando una vez más una imagen muy pobre para lo que es el club y el barcelonismo.
You can spot a few signals of covert anger, like pressing his lips and briefly showing his teeth. Obviously, he regrets the results of that match, but we cannot overlook these facial emotions because they will be necessary to establish an expression baseline to compare with other moments.
¿Por qué le dijiste al Barça que te podías ir?
Bueno, le dije al club, sobre todo al presidente, que me quería ir porque se lo vengo diciendo durante todo el año, porque me creía que ya era el momento de dar un paso al costado, creía que el club necesita gente nueva, idea nueva.
Here we have other signals like showing the tongue, and I have mentioned it in other analysis like Amber Heard. Showing your tongue is a way of saying that you don't fully agree with what you're saying at the moment. In Messi's case, you're going to see he does it often. Try to hear what he's saying at those moments and if you can work out a pattern. A gesture that confirms that he's remembering what he did is the eyes and head turning to his left, or to his memory. He's actually recalling the events. He also purses his lips a couple times, precisely when he mentions that he talked to Bartomeu about his departure. That tells you that the relationship between the two men is not smooth. Also, in that same clip, we see something very interesting that is right after saying, "Take a step aside." He draws his face backwards and you can see the lines that form in his neck. That is a sentence that he really doesn't like to say. He's not someone who steps aside, and that contradiction shows in his body.
Porque siempre dije que era lo que más quería, que terminar mi carrera en el club, pero la verdad que fue un año muy complicado, donde sufrí mucho dentro del entrenamiento, de los partidos, del vestuario. Se me hizo muy difícil.
Notice how he holds his breath and purses his lips again. Those are emotional responses. He doesn't want to talk about finishing his career, but he didn't want to stay at Barcelona either. So putting both concepts together, or effectively finishing his career with Barcelona, makes him show distress. He starts by talking in general terms, trying to make it seem that the decision was not due to external causes.
Buscar nuevos objetivos, nuevos aires y una experiencia nueva para mí, no viene a causa del resultado de Champions, que que dolió mucho, pero no es por eso que era mi decisión, era una decisión.
He keeps saying the word new experience over and over again, and he shows his tongue due to the fact that he has to quit from those new experiences. Speaking again of the results of the Champions match, he again presses his lips and squints a bit. He's really sad about it.
Que era mi decisión, era una decisión que venía meditando y estudiando todo el año, que se lo venía comentando al presidente y bueno, el presidente siempre dijo que yo a final de temporada podía decidir si me podía ir o me podía quedar y al final lo terminó cumpliendo con su palabra.
When he first mentions the president, he tenses his neck and jaw and makes a subtle teeth display in covert anger. He swallows hard and has slight contempt. He presses his lips firmly and tries to disguise he being upset about it.
¿Te sentiste dolido? Me imagino que sí, pero sobre todo, ¿te sentiste en algún momento un poco solo?
No, solo no, porque siempre están al lado mío los que estuvieron siempre y eso me basta y me fortalece.
All these are emotional responses. He says that the team was by his side, but he subtly denies with his head. He's not convinced that he feels supported.
Porque por más que me vaya o no me vaya, eso no va a cambiar nunca.
Deep anxiety right after that answer. A few seconds later, he also does this gesture. He is not actually rubbing his nose, just touching it. The same as the hand in his forehead. He's not sweeping the sweat, it's just a pacifying gesture. Now, notice Messi's attitude when the interviewer wants him to confirm that he is staying.
Pero al final, Leo, es muy difícil renunciar a 20 años, ¿no? A toda una vida, a toda una ciudad, a toda una familia que está aquí en Barcelona. Y sobre todo yo creo que eso es lo que pesa más a la hora de decir, bueno, voy a seguir en Barcelona.
Claro.
Porque, perdona, vas a seguir.
Claro que es difícil y me costó muchísimo llegar a tomar la decisión esa. Por eso te digo que no viene del resultado contra el Bayern.
He evades eye contact, he lowers his head, he rubs his legs again. He shows that he's not comfortable that he's staying because all the external circumstances. When talking about the decision, his lips go towards each other and press, showing anxiety. Don't forget to download my ebook of body language tips in the description.
Siempre dije que yo quería terminar mi carrera acá, pero siempre dije que quería un proyecto ganador, que quería seguir ganando título con el club y seguir agrandando la leyenda del club a nivel de título. Y la verdad que hace tiempo que no hay proyecto, no hay nada, se van haciendo malabares y van tapando agujeros a medida que van pasando las cosas.
Now, he apparently looks really upset about talking about Barcelona as a project. He pauses a lot in a statement that he should be absolutely proud to say. Instead, he shows profound doubts.
Competir por ganar la Champions. Siempre fue lo que quise durante todos estos años, intentar de competir y luchar por ganarla.
When he insists in the topic of the Champions League, he shows real stress with contempt lips and touching his face again. He shows high frustration on those pressed lips when he says the word try about the Champions League. Now, I have a question. How can a man that is so competitive, that is the top player in the world, use the word try when talking about our dream?
Y bueno, todo eso hizo que me lleve a esta decisión que después no se llevó a cabo porque volvemos al principio. Yo estamos seguros de que yo quedaba libre, que el presidente siempre dijo que yo al final de temporada podía decidir si me iba o no, y ahora se agarran de que no lo hice antes del 10 de junio.
That expression is being really upset for not being able to leave the club. And he expresses verbally that the president did not keep his word and is retaining him. The face expression is of being really upset about it. Now, have you ever thought of bungee jumping from a plane? I thought so. I'm sure you have never considered it, so your face didn't have any reaction when I said that. But Messi's reaction was emotional enough to affirm that he, at some point, considered the possibility of a trial.
Y podía quedar libre y no es que me voy y ya está. Me voy y me cuesta muchísimo, pero pienso en mí, en mi futuro, en mi carrera y en vivir mis últimos años de fútbol feliz, y este último año no encontré la felicidad dentro del club.
Now we're starting to see a pattern that effectively Messi shows the tip of the tongue every time he feels uncomfortable about a certain topic, especially if that topic makes him feel powerless. He's used to be on command.
Y la verdad que ahora no sé qué va a pasar. Hay un entrenador nuevo, una idea nueva, que está buenísimo que sea así, que cambien cosas, pero después hay que ver cómo responde el equipo y si nos va a dar o no para luchar. Yo lo que puedo decir es que yo sí me quedo y voy a dar el máximo, como lo hice siempre.
Again, he displays sadness between his brows and his mouth. Messi could be worried that he has an even heavier weight over his shoulders because it seems that Barcelona is not planning any player updates. Now, how do you think Messi answered when he was asked if he was upset about people doubting his Barcelona spirit?
Lo primero que pensaste fue una sensación de rabia, como diciendo, con todo lo que yo he hecho, con todo lo que he peleado por este club.
Sí, mucho dolor, te vuelvo a repetir.
Exactly. It was a huge contradiction because he said yes, but at the same time denied with his head. He has a lot of conflicting emotions about what to feel about all this. On one hand, he has a whole life at the club, but on the other, he had been thinking of leaving for months. He goes on, but his voice tone is lower, so he's not so sure about what he's saying. Now pay attention to the following words.
Que amo este club y que no voy a estar mejor acá que en ningún lado.
I love this club and I'm not going to be better here than anywhere. That's a huge slip of the tongue, saying he's not going to be better at Barcelona than in any other club. I know it was hard to spot, so let's watch it again.
Que amo este club y que no voy a estar mejor acá que en ningún lado.
Well, there's another strong contradiction.
Creo que estoy en mi derecho de poder decidir, porque así me lo permitió el contrato, así me lo permitió el presidente, y no pasa nada. Me iba a buscar nuevos objetivos, nuevos retos, y al día de mañana capaz que me tocaba volver otra vez, o seguramente volver otra vez, porque acá tengo todo.
He says, I had the right to decide, because the contract and the president permitted it, and it's okay. No. Actually, you didn't go anywhere because the president didn't allow it. You see that even if he tries to talk in good terms about the president and the club itself, there's a huge feeling of defeat. This was a fight he lost and he tries to justify it thinking about his family, that it will be better for them if he stays one more year. In fact, you can see his expression is totally different when he is talking about his family. His eyes open, he's almost smiling, and he has a much more positive stance. From his prior delight talking about his family to coming back to the reality of staying at the club, his face changes completely and shows sadness and regret.
Leo, te quedas en el Barça, vas a volver a liderar al equipo. Un mensaje que le puedas enviar a los barcelonistas que te estén viendo en casa.
An interesting question. Why did he send that legal notice?
Yo durante todo el año le venía diciendo al presidente que me quería ir, que había llegado el momento de que me parecía que tenía que buscar nuevas ilusiones, nuevo rumbo en mi carrera, y que me quería ir, y él todo el tiempo diciéndome, bueno, eso hablaremos, que no, que esto, que el otro. Y bueno, era como que siempre lo mismo, era, por decirlo de alguna manera, que no me daban bola a lo que le estaba diciendo. Entonces, mandar el Furufá, que era de alguna manera comunicarle y hacerlo oficial al club que yo no iba a seguir en el club, que había quedado libre.
Now, how can we guess Messi's and Barcelona's performance for next season? And the answer stems from the fact that he's doing this against his will. The team's morale is down, he really wanted to leave for another club, he has a feud with the club president, and you know how important is the Champions League for Messi, and they haven't won the trophy in 5 years. Don't you think all this is going to have an impact on his performance? I know. You're going to tell me that he's the best player in the world and he can overcome anything. but he's not confident about the current lineup, and to make things worse, Suarez is leaving the team. Do you think this situation is going to affect Barcelona's performance next season? It will be great if you share your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss any of my body language analysis and tips.